ancient species bound by law, trade, and carefully measured violence. Wars still happened, but they were polite, calculated, civilized. And then there was humanity. They were not invited. From the observation ring above the Concord capital world of Virex Prime, the galaxy looked peaceful. Thousands of stars glittered like jewels, each one claimed, categorized, and taxed. The High Council chamber floated at the center of the ring, a cathedral of crystal and light where the fate of civilizations was debated with calm voices and cold logic. High Arbiter Kael'Ron of the Ulvari extended his four-jointed limbs and activated the projection. A small blue star appeared. Agenda Item 7, Kael'Ron said, his voice layered with harmonic overtones. The Sol System. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. The hologram expanded, showing a yellow star, 8 planets, scattered orbital debris and crude artificial satellites. Counselor Threx of the Varn Collective emitted a clicking laugh. They still use chemical rockets. Primitive junk litters their orbit. They detonated nuclear weapons in their own atmosphere, added Matron Issel, her voice smooth with disdain. A species that poisons its cradle cannot be trusted with the stars. Kael'Ron raised a limb for silence. Nevertheless, he said, humanity has achieved faster-than-light travel. That caused a pause. They stole it, Threx said flatly. Recovered fragments from a crashed Drell vessel at the edge of their system. Reverse-engineered through trial and error. Error being the key word, Issel replied. They lost 2 entire colonies before stabilizing the drive. Another ripple of amusement spread across the chamber. The projection shifted, showing Earth. Blue oceans. White clouds. Flickers of city lights on the night side. Population? Asked the counselor. 10 billion, Kael'Ron replied. Rapid growth. Rapid industrialization. No unified planetary government. Divided, Threx said. Aggressive. Emotion-driven. Dangerous to themselves, Issel added. Insignificant to us, Threx concluded. The chamber hummed in agreement. Kael'Ron hesitated. His species had survived 3 galactic wars. He had learned that underestimation was the first step toward extinction. They have fought more internal wars than most of us have fought total, he said slowly. They adapt quickly under pressure. Against themselves, Threx snapped. Not against the Concord. The projection changed again. Human ships appeared, angular, armored, inelegant. No flowing biostructures. No energy sails. Just brutal geometry and visible weapon mounts. Crude, Issel said. Yet functional, Kael'Ron replied. The vote proceeded. Motion. Issue a limited containment directive. Objective. Restrict humanity's expansion beyond designated systems. Method. Economic pressure and, if required, a demonstration strike. The motion passed overwhelmingly. Only Kael'Ron abstained. Sol System, Earth orbit. Admiral Elias Rourke watched the alien fleet arrive. They didn't jump in dramatically. No weapons fire. No threat display. They simply appeared. 27 vessels, each larger than Earth's largest city. Their hulls shimmered with energy fields that bent light and confused sensors. The command bridge of the UNS Resolute fell silent. Confirmed, a sensor officer said. Unknown vessels. FTL signatures not matching any known human design. Rourke folded his hands behind his back. Open a channel, he said. The alien reply came instantly. A tall, faceted being appeared on the main screen, its body glowing with internal light. I am Envoy Threx of the Galactic Concord, it said. You will cease all expansion beyond Sol immediately. Rourke raised an eyebrow. That's not how first contact usually goes, he said calmly. You are not a member civilization, Threx replied. You are a developing species. Your technology is unstable. Your psychology is volatile. Rourke smiled faintly. That's a polite way of calling us dangerous. You are dangerous to yourselves, Threx said, and potentially inconvenient to others. Inconvenient how? Rourke asked. Threx's mandibles flexed. Your colonies near the Perseus Drift violate established Concord borders. Rourke leaned forward. No one told us those borders existed. They were not meant for you. The bridge grew tense. Rourke tapped a control. Data streamed behind him. Charts, projections, ship silhouettes. Envoy, he said, we don't recognize your authority over unclaimed space. You will, Threx replied. After the demonstration. The alien fleet shifted formation. Energy readings spiked. A distant human mining outpost, civilian, lightly defended, went dark in a silent flash of light. 20,000 people vanished. The bridge erupted. Rourke did not shout. He closed his eyes. When he opened them, the smile was gone. "You just made a mistake," he said quietly. Threx tilted its head. "You are in no position to." Rourke cut the channel. He turned to his crew. "Send the recording to every human colony," he said. "Full disclosure. Then wake the Strategic Response Council." A young officer swallowed. "Sir, they outgun us." Rourke nodded. "Yes," he said. "On paper." He looked out at the alien armada. "They don't know us yet." Virex Prime High Council Chamber. Threx stood tall before the council. "The humans complied with silence," he reported. "Their military is inferior. Their ships lack elegance and efficiency." Issel's voice purred with satisfaction. "Then the matter is settled." Kael'ron studied the projection of Earth one last time. On the night side, the city lights burned brighter than before. Something about them felt defiant. "Humans," Kael'ron said softly, almost to himself, "do not go quiet when threatened." But the council had already moved on. They did not notice the encrypted signals spreading through human space. They did not hear the words being spoken on 1,000 command decks at once. "If the galaxy wants a war, we'll teach it what that means." The Galactic Concord believed fear was enough. They believed the destruction of a single human outpost would bring compliance, panic, and surrender. That was how younger species always reacted. They fractured. They begged. They submitted. Humanity did none of those things. Earth, Geneva Arcology. The Strategic Response Council chamber was buried 3 kilometers beneath stone and steel. It had been designed during humanity's darkest century, when extinction-level threats were no longer theoretical. Admirals, scientists, diplomats, and artificial intelligences filled the circular room. At the center hovered the recording. The mining outpost vanished again in silent light. No screams. No warning. Just absence. President Mara Chen closed her eyes for a long moment. "Casualties?" she asked. 20,000 confirmed, said Director Havelock. "No survivors." A murmur passed through the chamber. Rage. Grief. Control. Admiral Rourke stood. "They want us small," he said. "Contained. Afraid." "And are we?" Chen asked. Rourke looked around the room. "Humanity has planned for extinction since we learned how to write," he said. "This isn't our first time staring into the dark." A hologram replaced the destroyed outpost. It showed something else. Hidden shipyards inside asteroids. Massive structures buried beneath moons. Fleets that did not appear on public records. Gasps echoed. Director Havelock smiled thinly. "The Concord spies see our civilian navy. They don't see the black vaults." Chin raised an eyebrow. "How many?" "Enough," Havelock said. "And growing." A scientist stepped forward. "Madam President, our FTL drives may look crude, but they have one advantage." She tapped the control. Human ships jumped, then reappeared, not in clean formations but scattered unpredictably. "Human drives don't prioritize safety," she said. "They prioritize arrival." Rourke grinned. "The aliens arrive where planned. We arrive where needed." Silence followed. Then Chen spoke. "No retaliation yet," she said. "We don't fight to look strong. We fight to win." She looked at Rourke. "Begin Phase 1. Virex Prime High Council Chamber." Kael'ron felt it before the data confirmed it. Trade routes flickered. Shipping lanes slowed. Entire economic nodes went dark. Threx turned sharply. "Report." A Varn analyst hesitated. "Human corporations have withdrawn from Concord markets." "Withdrawn?" Issel said. "They cannot afford." "They anticipated sanctions," the analyst continued. "They stockpiled resources for decades. Their colonies are self-sufficient." The chamber stirred. Kael'ron's frills darkened. "They planned for isolation." "Impossible," Threx snapped. "They are divided." "They were," the analyst corrected. "They unified 6 hours ago." A projection appeared. Earth's nations faded into a single symbol. The Terran Union. "Emergency powers enacted," the analyst said. "Military command consolidated." Threx laughed harshly. "Unity born of fear collapses quickly." Kael'ron was not convinced. "Where are their fleets?" he asked. The analyst hesitated again. "Unknown. Deep space, Perseus Drift." The Concord demonstration fleet patrolled confidently. Its commander, Overseer Zal, watched the stars from his command throne. "Human signals?" he asked. "None," replied a drone mind. Zal relaxed. "They learned." Then space twisted. No warning alarms. No buildup. Human ships appeared inside the formation. Not elegant. Not glowing. Just steel and fire. Railgun slugs punched through Concorde shields at point-blank range. Human missiles fragmented into swarms, confusing point defenses. Boarding pods slammed into hulls like meteors. Zhao roared in disbelief. They violated jump safety limits. Yes, the drone mind said calmly. They are dying at higher than acceptable rates. Zhao froze. Acceptable? To whom? The first Concorde ship split in half. Human channels opened. Admiral Rourke's face appeared, blood streaked across his temple. You killed civilians, he said. So now we're done being careful. Zhao's mandibles trembled. You are throwing away lives. Rourke nodded once. We always do, he said. That's why we survive. Human ships rammed larger vessels, detonating fusion cores at close range. Smaller craft slipped through shield gaps no Concorde engineer believed exploitable. The battle lasted 7 minutes. When it ended, half the Concorde fleet was wreckage. The humans withdrew immediately. No pursuit. No celebration. Just disappearance. Virex Prime. The chamber was silent. Threx stared at the casualty report. This defies doctrine, he whispered. They weaponized desperation, Issel said softly. They accept losses we would never tolerate. Kael'ron stood. They are not reckless, he said. They are conditioned. The projection changed. Human broadcasts spread across the galaxy, translated into 1,000 languages. Rourke's voice echoed through alien halls. We do not seek your worlds. We do not fear your power. You struck first. Now you will learn how humans fight when survival is on the line. The council felt something unfamiliar. Not anger. Not fear. Respect. And something worse. Uncertainty. Kael'ron closed his eyes. The galaxy, he said quietly, has misunderstood what kind of species it has awakened. The Concorde did not panic. Panic was for younger species. Instead they adapted, coldly, efficiently, and with terrifying speed. Virex Prime, Emergency Council Session. The High Council chamber no longer glowed with serene light. Defense projections filled the air, layered with casualty figures and strategic maps. Overseer Zhao's fleet losses rotated slowly in crimson. Threx's mandibles clicked in barely restrained fury. They ambushed a sanctioned fleet. This is an act of war. They responded to an act of war, Kael'ron corrected quietly. Issel ignored him. Human psychology is clear now. They use shock and sacrifice to offset inferiority. Inferiority? Asked Counselor Rex of the Koth, a reptilian giant. They destroyed half a Concorde battle group in minutes. Because they caught us unprepared? Threx snapped. That will not happen again. A new projection appeared. Directive, Iron Veil. Automated defense networks activated along Concorde borders. Hyperspace corridors recalibrated. Jump denial fields, ancient technology reserved only for galaxy-ending threats, were authorized. Kael'ron's frills flared. Iron Veil has never been deployed against a single species, he said. They are no longer a single species, Threx replied. They are a contagion. The vote passed. This time Kael'ron voted against it. Again it did not matter. Sol System, Lunar Command. Admiral Rourke stood before a wall of data. His uniform sleeve was torn, still stained from Perseus drift. Jump denial fields, said Director Havelock. They're sealing hyperspace lanes. So they think, Rourke replied. A woman stepped forward, Dr. Anika Rao, lead physicist of Project Helios. They don't understand our FTL, she said. They assume it works like theirs. Rourke glanced at her. Does it? She smiled grimly. Not even close. She activated the display. Human ships appeared not jumping through space, but tearing around it. Our drives don't respect stable corridors, Rao said. They punch holes. Temporary. Violent. Which is why so many pilots die, an officer muttered. Yes, Rao agreed. And why Iron Veil won't stop us. Rourke folded his arms. Good, he said. Because Phase 2 requires mobility. Chen's hologram appeared. You're proposing escalation, she said calmly. I'm proposing clarity, Rourke replied. They still think this is about territory. And it's not, Chen said. No, Rourke agreed. It's about precedent. He turned back to the room. They need to learn that attacking humanity costs more than it's worth. Havelock hesitated. Then we show them that? Silence. Even the AIs dimmed their displays. Rourke nodded once. Prepare the archive, he said. Concord Frontier, World of Talshera. Talshera was an agricultural jewel. Floating cities drifted above golden plains. No shields. No fleets. It was safe. Or so the Concord believed. Human ships emerged above the atmosphere. Only 3. Talshera's planetary governor attempted to hail them. The reply was immediate. A single human woman appeared on screen. President Mara Chin. You are not our enemy, she said. But you are part of a system that believes extermination is diplomacy. The governor recoiled. This world is neutral. Chin nodded. So were our miners. Behind her the sky burned. Human kinetic strikes slammed into orbit, not cities. Concord defense satellites shattered into debris fields that rained harmlessly into atmosphere. No casualties. Just vulnerability. Chin continued. This is restraint, she said. Remember what it looks like. Then the humans vanished. Virex Prime. Shock rippled through the council. They bypassed Iron Veil, Threx hissed. They targeted infrastructure, not population, Issel said slowly. Kael'ron leaned forward. They are communicating, he said. Teaching. Threx slammed a limb down. They are threatening. No, Kael'ron replied. They are warning. Another projection appeared, human data packets spreading freely across Concord space. Historical records. Wars. Extinctions. Humanity's own near ends. Translated automatically. Civilizations lost to hubris. Enemies crushed not by superior tech, but by refusal to surrender. A Varn counselor whispered, Why would they share this? Kael'ron answered. Because predators hide, he said. Humans announce. Deep Black, the archive vault. Hidden far beyond Sol, a structure older than Earth rotated silently. Human hands had not built it. They had found it. Rourke stood before the sealed chamber. Inside lay designs humanity had never used. Never needed to. Weapons that rewrote causality. Engines that burned stars down to embers. An AI voice echoed softly. Authorization required. Extinction class disclosure. Rourke hesitated. Then placed his hand on the panel. Not yet, he said. But wake them. Lights flickered on in the dark. Virex Prime, Council Chamber. Kael'ron addressed the assembly. We face a species that prepares for annihilation as a baseline, he said. They do not fight for dominance. Threx's voice was tight. Then what do they fight for? Kael'ron met his gaze. To make sure no one ever tries this again. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Concord considered something unthinkable. That they might lose. The Concord believed the humans would fear them. They believed in rules, limits, and measured retaliation. They were wrong. Virex Prime High Council panic. The council chamber no longer resembled a seat of deliberation. It was a war room. Screens flickered with the burned remnants of fleets, and alarms echoed through translucent halls. Threx paced. They've targeted supply chains across 3 sectors. Entire economic arteries, gone. Issel's mandibles flexed nervously. And no civilians harmed. They are surgical. Kael'ron, however, felt something colder than fear. Respect. Understanding. They fight with precision because they fight with purpose, he said. Counselor Rex's claws tapped on a console. Purpose? What purpose justifies obliterating an entire fleet without warning? Their purpose, Kael'ron said softly, is survival and a lesson. The chamber fell silent. Deep space, outer rim of Perseus Drift. Admiral Rourke's fleet appeared in scattered, unpredictable patterns. Every Concord ship that moved to intercept was already a step behind. Human vessels slipped between sensors, materializing in impossible vectors. Railguns discharged slugs at near point-blank ranges. Missiles fragmented into thousands of microdrones that jammed targeting systems. Commander Zal barked orders, but his ships were already losing cohesion. Shields failed. Energy conduits overloaded. Hulls split under strikes that made no sense, yet worked flawlessly. A human boarding pod pierced a Varn dreadnought like a spear, dispersing the alien crew into the void. Rourke's voice echoed over universal comm channels. We do not seek conquest. We do not ask for your permission. We fight to survive. And we fight to teach the galaxy a simple truth. Humanity is not to be underestimated. The Concord fleet's retreat was chaotic, unnatural. It was the first time in 10,000 years that a species forced them to break formation. Earth orbit, Terran Union Command. Chen watched the live data feeds. Her eyes were calm, almost clinical. Director Havelock approached. Casualties are higher than expected, ma'am. We're pushing our fleets to the absolute limit. Chen nodded. Good. That's the point. They need to see what we are capable of, without using everything. A young officer hesitated. Are we holding back, sir? Rourke's smile was grim. We always hold back until the lesson is learned. Let them know we can destroy everything but choose not to. Virex Prime, political fractures. The Concord's council was fracturing. Declare war. Burn them from space. Threx shouted. No, Kael'ron said, they are not attacking for territory or resources. They are attacking to teach. Every strike is a message. Issel's mandibles flexed in thought. A message, to all of us. But what exactly are they teaching? Kael'ron did not answer. Instead he studied the data feed from Sol. Blue light flickered over Earth's cities. Human fleets moved like chess pieces, coordinated with terrifying intelligence, yet unpredictably fluid. They are apex predators hiding behind civility, he murmured. Rex leaned forward. Then we must escalate. Show them what true power looks like. You will, Kael'ron said softly. And then you will understand why you should never fight humanity. Deep space, black vaults revealed. Hidden among asteroid belts far beyond Concord sensors, humanity revealed one truth. The black vaults were no myth. Giant starforged ships, planet-cracking engines, and weapons of unprecedented scale waited silently. Not a single one had been deployed yet. Dr. Anika Rao activated the control array. We're ready, she said. But remember, we use these only if the lesson is ignored. If they strike again, they will see the real cost of their mistake. Rourke nodded. Phase 3 begins when and only when the Concord decides to push further. Virex Prime, Council Chambers. Overseer Zhao returned to the council. His mandibles were pale, a sign of stress among his species. They bypassed Iron Veil. They attacked 3 of our major supply hubs. They do not fear us. Threx slammed a limb on the console. Then we escalate. Full mobilization. Issel's voice was softer, almost fearful. Escalation against humanity is unprecedented. We may survive the attack, but we will not survive the lesson. Kael'ron's eyes narrowed. They do not attack for domination. They attack to survive. And in doing so, they define the cost of aggression against them. Threx leaned close. We are prepared to escalate, if they force us. Kael'ron shook his head. No, you are not. You are only beginning to realize the power you never thought they had. The Terran message. Across the galaxy, human broadcast streamed freely. Every destroyed fleet, every bypassed blockade, every silent strike on alien infrastructure was broadcast and translated in real time. We do not want your worlds. We do not want your resources. You chose to strike first. You chose to threaten. And now, you will understand what it means to awaken humanity. The words spread fear, awe, and respect simultaneously. Even the youngest species of the Concord whispered in their secret corridors. This is not a war we can win with conventional tactics. The calm before Phase 3. Back on the UNS Resolute, Rourke surveyed the stars. They think they know us, he said quietly. They've seen what they believe is our power. They haven't even touched the edge of it. Chin joined him on the bridge. They will, she said, if they keep testing us. But first, they must understand what humanity can do when it is cornered and refusing to die. Rourke smiled faintly. The galaxy is about to learn the hard way. And above them, among the silent stars, the black vaults waited. Silent, lethal, patient. The humans were calm. The galaxy was not. The High Council chamber was in disarray. Screens flickered with alerts. Concord fleets were retreating or destroyed. Supply chains severed. Trade networks shattered. Threx's mandibles clicked furiously. This cannot continue. They are destabilizing 3 sectors in a single cycle. Issel's voice, usually calm and elegant, trembled. They are not destabilizing. They are educating. Every strike has precision, intent. Kael'ron leaned forward. His frills shivered with unease. They do not fight to conquer. They fight to survive, and to demonstrate consequences. If we escalate, we provoke something we cannot predict. Predictable or not, we will not yield, Threx said. The Terrans will submit. Kael'ron shook his head. No. They will teach. And we may not survive the lesson. Sol System, Terran Union Command. Admiral Rourke stood on the bridge of the UNS Resolute, watching simulations of Concord fleet formations. Dr. Anika Rao approached. We've mapped their tactics. They adapt, yes, but predictably in the way we expect. We can exploit it. Exploit? Rourke asked. Phase 3, Rao said. The Apex Protocol. We've been waiting for this moment. All other engagements were rehearsals. Now we pull the trap. Rourke's eyes darkened. You're saying we strike everything at once? Yes, Rao said. Not just fleets. Not just infrastructure. Concord's political, economic, and military nodes simultaneously. They think we are limited by logistics. We are not. Rourke's grin was cold. Then let's show them what cornered humans do. Deep space, first apex strike. The human fleets jumped unpredictably, scattered across 3 sectors simultaneously. Concord sensors lit up. Multiple jump anomalies detected. Overseer Zal's eyes widened. Impossible. They cannot be in 3 places at once. Yet there they were. Human ships struck simultaneously. Tal Shera's orbital defense satellites collapsed under precision strikes. Concord resource convoys were intercepted mid-hyperspace. Political signals on Virex Prime flickered with human broadcasts exposing Council failures. Human boarding pods infiltrated command vessels, not for destruction, but to transmit real-time intelligence back to Terran Union Command. Admiral Rourke's voice carried across all channels. This is not conquest. This is clarity. The galaxy will understand humanity before it decides to challenge us again. Virex Prime, Council in turmoil. The Council erupted. This is chaos. Threx shouted. Our fleets are being cut to pieces across 3 sectors simultaneously. Issel's voice rang with fear. And they are not killing civilians. They are precisely controlling the outcome. Do you see? They do not just fight, they orchestrate. Kael'ron's frills darkened. They are not only powerful, they are disciplined. They are apex predators in every sense. Counselor Rex hissed, they cannot sustain this. They will overextend. They want to overextend, Kael'ron said. And that is the trap. Terran Union, Apex Control. On Earth, Chin watched live feeds of the strikes. Rourke's fleets were deployed like a deadly lattice, converging on Concord's critical nodes. Each strike was simultaneous but strategically separated. Any retaliation would trigger another chain reaction. Dr. Rao pointed to a massive projection. Notice the pattern. Each fleet moves to create systemic stress, then withdraws to safe distance. They cannot counter all of them at once. Havelock shook his head in awe. They aren't just fighting. They're rewriting the rules of engagement. Chen's gaze hardened. This is the part they never anticipated. They believed they could intimidate us. Now we control the lesson. Concord civilization's shockwaves. Across the galaxy, the Concord's member species realized they had underestimated humanity. Even species that had survived millennia of interstellar conflict were shaken. Varn strategists whispered of human tactical genius. Ulvari philosophers debated the meaning of a species that fought not for expansion, but for survival and respect. Koth military analysts began secretly plotting ways to ally, or at least placate, the Terrans. The human broadcasts were everywhere, translated in real time. You assumed we were weak. You assumed we would beg. You assumed we were just another species. You assumed wrong. Humanity survives. Humanity strikes. And humanity learns. The message spread faster than fleets could move. The galaxy's perception of humans had shifted permanently. Rourke's calculated fury. Back on the bridge of the Resolute, Rourke addressed his fleet. They believed fear was enough. They believed rules mattered. They believed our deaths would save them. We will teach them the truth. Humanity is apex because we refuse to die quietly. The human fleets moved again, vanishing into hyperspace, leaving a trail of perfectly executed disruption. Dr. Rao whispered, they think this is a show of strength. It's also a show of restraint. Imagine what we could do if pushed further. Rourke's eyes met hers. We hope they never push us further. But if they do, they will learn why humanity cannot be defeated. Kael'ron's realization. On Virex Prime, Kael'ron finally stood, alone in a shadowed gallery overlooking the stars. They are not just a species, he murmured. They are an inevitability. Every war, every death, every trial has forged them into apex predators. The galaxy has assumed too much, and it will pay the price. Even Threx and Issel began to sense it. Humanity was no longer just another species to contain or manage. They were a force, a warning, a paradigm shift, and the Concord would never see the galaxy the same way again. The galaxy had underestimated humans. It would not survive its miscalculation. Virex Prime, Council on the edge. The High Council chamber was filled with tension so thick it could be cut with energy blades. Overseer Zal's data feed flashed crimson. Entire sectors were paralyzed. Supply chains shredded. Political communications compromised. Threx slammed a limb against the console. We cannot fight them. They are everywhere. Every strike is perfectly timed. Issel's voice quivered. And yet they are not killing innocents. They are teaching. Kael'ron's frills darkened. They are apex predators. But apex predators with intent. Every strike, every maneuver is a lesson, not chaos. Counselor Rex growled. Then we fight differently. We consolidate. We crush them with overwhelming force. Kael'ron shook his head. You cannot overwhelm a species that has turned unpredictability into strategy. Every attack you plan is anticipated. Every retreat is calculated. This is a species that does not simply fight. They redefine the battlefield itself. Deep space, Terran Apex Fleet. Human ships jumped unpredictably across the galaxy, appearing in synchronized strikes at critical Concord nodes. Each fleet moved like a living organism. Not a ship in motion but an extension of collective human thought. Concord command vessels found their communications hijacked mid-jump. Sensitive intelligence broadcast across human networks in seconds. Resource convoys were intercepted without a single civilian casualty. Political propaganda spread faster than any fleet, sowing doubt, hesitation, and fear among Concord member species. Admiral Rourke's voice echoed across all channels. We do not seek your worlds. We do not seek your submission. You struck first. You assumed we were weak. Now you will understand the cost of underestimating humanity. Ships fired in perfect coordination. Railguns, missiles, kinetic projectiles, all appearing almost simultaneously across vast distances. Even the most experienced Concord commanders froze. Their fleets could not respond to an enemy who defied physics, strategy, and expectations simultaneously. Sol System, Terran Command. President Mara Chen stood on the bridge of the UNS Resolute, flanked by Admiral Rourke and Dr. Anika Rao. The Apex Protocol is working, Rao said. Concord fleets are reacting slower than we anticipated. Their panic is spreading. Rourke nodded. Good. But the real lesson isn't destruction. It's restraint. Every strike must teach without annihilating. Chen's gaze hardened. We're showing them what humanity can do, and what humanity chooses not to do. That choice is what makes us Apex. Rourke smiled faintly. Yes. And if they push further, they will see the edge of human potential. The Black Vaults. The Black Vaults, humanity's hidden power. Hidden deep within asteroid belts, humanity's secret weapons waited. Engines capable of superluminal travel beyond comprehension. Planetary-scale kinetic weapons. Energy projectors that could destabilize star systems. Dr. Rao activated one of the dormant stations. We are ready, she said. We do not need these yet, but if the Concord strikes again, every sector in the path of our fleets becomes a fortress, or a weapon. Rourke's eyes darkened. The galaxy thinks they've seen our best. They haven't even glimpsed it. Virex Prime, Council on the brink. Threx's voice was sharp with panic. We have mobilized every fleet. Every contingency. And still, humanity moves where we cannot predict. Issel's mandibles flexed, almost in awe. And yet, they do not kill indiscriminately. Every engagement is measured. Kael'ron finally spoke, his voice calm but resolute. This is not a species to dominate or intimidate. This is a species to respect, or fear. They have made themselves Apex not through aggression, but through strategy, adaptability, and the willingness to endure losses we could never tolerate. A counselor whispered, Can we survive them if we continue this war? Kael'ron's eyes glimmered. Survival is no longer guaranteed. They have taught the galaxy something it has never learned. Humanity is Apex because it refuses to die quietly. Deep space, strategic decimation. Human fleets struck once more, this time targeting Concord military nodes in coordinated precision. Entire fleets vanished before alarms could trigger. Strategic command centers were disrupted. Not destroyed but rendered incapable of coherent action. The Concord scrambled, unsure where the humans would strike next. Every prediction failed. Every protocol was outdated. Even Zal, a commander who had never known defeat, could only watch in disbelief as human ships performed maneuvers that seemed impossible. They are not fighting, Zal whispered. They are teaching, and every lesson burns. The Galactic broadcast. Every strike, every disruption, every warning was transmitted galaxy-wide. Humans spoke directly to the Concord member species. We are not your enemies. We are not your subjects. You assumed fear would suffice. You assumed we were weak. You were wrong. Humanity survives. Humanity strikes. And humanity teaches. The message spread faster than fleets could move, reverberating across planets, space stations, and colonies. Even neutral species began to whisper, even to themselves, "Do not provoke humanity." The calm after the storm. Back on the UNS Resolute, Admiral Rourke looked at the stars. "They think the lesson is over," he said quietly. "It's only beginning. They've seen what we can do. They've felt it, but they have not seen everything." President Chin placed a hand on his shoulder. "And we hope they never will. Humanity does not need to destroy to teach. But if necessary, the galaxy will learn why no one fights us." The human fleets vanished into hyperspace, leaving the Concorde in chaos, fractured and terrified. The lesson was clear. Humanity's apex was not raw power, it was resilience, strategy, and a refusal to bow. And the galaxy would never be the same. The galaxy believed it had seen humanity's limits. It had not. Virex Prime, the Council's final hour. The High Council chamber no longer resembled a deliberative hall. Alarms blared, projections flickered, and members spoke over one another in panic. Threx's mandibles clicked sharply. "Every fleet we send is intercepted or bypassed. We have no control." Issel's voice, once calm and measured, trembled. "They are not just destroying fleets, they are demonstrating strategy, adaptability, precision, and restraint. They choose what to strike." Kael'ron's frills flared as he stood. "You do not understand. Humanity is apex not because of raw power, but because it has learned to endure, adapt, and strike with perfect purpose. Every loss they accept, every risk they take increases their edge." Counselor Rex hissed. "Then what do? We cannot win." Kael'ron looked toward the projection of Earth, glowing like a jewel in the void. "We do not fight them. Not unless we wish to learn the true meaning of annihilation." The chamber fell silent. For the first time in millennia, the Concorde did not speak of war, they spoke of survival. Sol System, the Black Vaults unleashed. Deep among the asteroid belts of the Sol System, humanity revealed its ultimate secret. The Black Vaults, dormant for centuries, activated in unison. Engines flared to life, burning light years of raw energy. Starcracker arrays aligned, targeting nowhere in particular. Planetary-scale kinetic weapons shifted into position. Dr. Anika Rao's voice was calm. "We do not aim to strike. We aim to reveal. Let them see what humanity could do if pushed beyond endurance." Admiral Rourke's face appeared on the universal channels, calm and unyielding. "Concorde fleets, member species, neutral worlds. You have underestimated us. You have assumed we are weak. You have assumed humanity can be coerced or contained. We show you only a fraction of our potential. Any further aggression will awaken the rest." The signal reached every star system in Concorde space. Fear, awe, and disbelief spread simultaneously. Deep space, Concorde fleets in panic. Concorde fleets attempted to counter, but it was futile. Ships recalibrated on the fly, only to discover humans had anticipated every maneuver. Supply convoys vanished. Command nodes were rendered useless before firing a shot. Political broadcasts spread intelligence across member species, exposing vulnerabilities, corruption, and outdated doctrines. Overseer Zal's voice shook with disbelief. "We thought we controlled the galaxy. They control the perception of control." Even the most battle-hardened commanders realized humanity had weaponized unpredictability, strategy, and moral discipline in ways no one had ever imagined. The Galactic lesson. Kael'ron stood silently in the council chamber, watching the simulations. "They are apex not because they can kill the most," he said softly. "They are apex because they can endure, calculate, and teach without annihilation. They make you respect them, or die trying." Threx's mandibles trembled. "They are gods among us. And we haven't even seen everything." "They do not need to be gods," Kael'ron said. "They only need to refuse death." Across the galaxy, species whispered, strategists recalculated, and governments reconsidered centuries of arrogance. Humanity had done what no one else could. It had reshaped the hierarchy of the galaxy without conquering a single world. Earth, humanity's quiet apex. Back on Earth, President Mara Chen looked at the stars. "The Concorde will understand," she said, voice steady. "They've seen what we can do. They will think twice before striking again." Admiral Rourke joined her. "And if they don't?" Chin smiled faintly. "Then they will see why humans never fight half measures." Rourke nodded. "And the galaxy will learn why you don't fight humanity." In orbit, human fleets disappeared into hyperspace. The Black Vaults powered down, not in retreat but in patience. The lesson had been delivered. The aftermath, Galactic transformation. Across the galaxy, the Concord faced its deepest existential crisis. Member species questioned centuries of governance. Military strategists admitted defeat before the first shot was fired. Young civilizations realized the myth of invincible alien fleets was false. Neutral species began secretly seeking human alliances. Even the galaxy's most advanced civilizations acknowledged the immutable truth: humanity was different. Apex. Unpredictable. Indomitable. The Terran Union, meanwhile, did not celebrate. Humanity had taught the galaxy a lesson, but it had done so with restraint. Humanity had survived, fought, and warned, but it had not conquered. In that restraint lay the true apex. A species so powerful yet so disciplined that it could destroy entire civilizations, but instead chose to teach. The final word. Admiral Rourke addressed his fleets, holographic lights dancing across the bridge. Remember this and remember it well. The galaxy will always underestimate humanity. But one day, it will learn the hard way why you never, ever fight humanity. President Chen's hand rested on his shoulder. And when that day comes, we will be ready. Not just to survive, but to endure. To teach. To prevail. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. Human ships glided silently, a subtle promise to the galaxy. Humanity would endure. Humanity would adapt. Humanity would define its own apex. And the Concord and every species that had doubted them would never forget.